Hello and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming, coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, Gen Con, and the gaming capital of the world. This is The Established Facts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 121 of The Established Facts. This is our Indie PopCon Prep episode. We're going to go around the table, get our introductions, and then we're going to do a little bit of a DruCon Wrap Up, and then we'll get into our PopCon episode. So, starting to my right...
This is Josh.
I'm Avital.
And this is Josh Prime.
And, of course, this is your host, Big Don. So, we are, as you can tell, extremely excited about not just Indie PopCon, but the con season in general for this year. But we are extremely excited about Indie PopCon coming up at the end of this week. It's going to be... It's already crazy, but it's going to be extremely awesome. But I really want to get into a DruCon wrap-up because Josh and Avital got to go to the first annual DruCon. Maybe the only one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Avital, Josh, kind of give us a little bit of a wrap up, a review on DruCon. Let everybody know what DruCon is, and just kind of tell us what you guys had fun doing.
Well, first I kind of had this realization that we're like the sports center for conventions. Sometimes we're providing the play-by-play and summary.
So, Josh,
but DruCon took place in Brentwood, Missouri, the weekend of June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We met up with some of our friends and the Fear the Boot community, probably 40 or 50 some odd back and forth between the weekends we meet up. And we just played some role-playing games, played some board games. And cool thing about the convention being inside the Drury Hotel itself was that you could stay up as late as you wanted. You can get in there whenever you wanted. And they offered breakfast. The Drury offers breakfast, and they also do this after hours.
It's the 5:30 kickback.
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. And it's like, there'll be like some snacks, and you get 3 free drinks, as in like alcoholic drinks. But like the free food, it's not just snacks. There's like macaroni and cheese, and baked potatoes, and chicken tenders, and hot dogs.
Like, that's so legit. You don't get lit while you're standing in the front room.
But we just ate
our mac and cheese is awesome.
We just ate our whole dinner there twice.
Yeah, twice, Thursday and Saturday. So I think it worked out pretty well. I know that Adam Godfrey, Derek Newsom, which of course is part of our podcast, and Bob Aarons, Martian Bob as some know him, really worked really hard.
I didn't know he had a real name.
He does. That's even how you find him, as Bob Aarons.
Really? Okay.
I thought that was his birth certificate.
Martian Bob. It's the first real Martian to be born. Anyways, they did a really good job organizing the convention. I know I was in on a conversation between Dan and some of the other podcast hosts. Wayne in particular was really, really happy with the turnout, even though Fear the Boot had taken the year off from doing Fear the Con. So it worked out. It worked out. I thought it was well attended. I know personally, I really enjoyed playing a role playing game in the World of Darkness with Adam. It was only supposed to be during slot 2 on Friday, but we had gone so long and we're just really getting into it that he actually offered to play slot 5 the next day as well.
Yeah,
so
all
we
of us
did do
were
that.
Free, so.
Yeah. But I think the most memorable had to be slot 6 when we were playing the D&D. So we were playing characters from the D&D cartoon series. And I played
that cartoon series.
I played Presto. And having never seen the show, I didn't know what I was getting into. And according to Devin Parker, who was there playing the game with us, I played Presto perfectly. So, do you see what I mean about the P's? How hard that is to do? Yeah, But Presto, if those who haven't seen the show, his whole shtick is he has a magic hat that he casts spells out of. And the way this D&D 3.5 character had it laid out was you could swap out a spell from your spell book by casting out of the hat, and you roll a D100 on a 1 to like 34. A Rod of Wonder effect would go off. On a 34 to 65, a Rod of Wonder effect would go off, and the spell would work. And then anything above a 65, the spell would work, no Rod of Wonder. So
it was like using the Wabbajack in Skyrim.
Sure, yeah. It was...
You're not really sure what you're casting.
No.
You just hope you hit it.
So the very last thing that happened, even though we'd already killed the main bad guy, I convinced the DM to let me go ahead and go anyways. I went to cast Lightning Bolt out of my hat. Lightning Bolt failed, but Flesh to Stone did not, and I turned the guy into a statue, even though he was dead. So
Nice.
Yep.
that was probably the most, I'd say probably my most memorable point. What about you, Avital?
The D&D cartoon game was definitely pretty amusing. I mean, I never watched it.
Who did you play?
I played Hank the Ranger.
Okay.
I think Deb was playing Sheila, the thief.
Yeah, the acrobat.
And our GM was like, Sheila has a huge crush on Hank, and Deb kind of looks at me like,
What's up?
She was just like, how am I supposed to roleplay that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't say that, but that was pretty funny. But I also really did like the World of Darkness game, because like once Adam saw that we had signed up, like he contacted us and kind of asked us like what we wanted to play. And like the funniest thing about that game was the character that he created for me. He gave my sister's name, and he doesn't know my sister and has never met her and didn't know her name.
That's
So my
cool.
character's name was Talia,
Nice.
spelled the same way and everything.
Nice.
The funny thing, it was Talia Guernsey, Caulfield the third. But I
Yeah.
was like, how
That's
did you?
that's
How
really
was that an
close.
accident?
Yeah,
like
right.
what?
So, I mean, in terms of the future for DruCon, there will definitely be a convention next year. What that will be named, stay tuned.
Maybe DruCon, maybe
Fear the Con.
Fear the
I don't know.
Maybe Fear the Drew. I don't know.
Fear the Drew.
What's so scary about Drew?
Right. He's
so-
a really big guy.
so stay tuned, because there are a lot of podcasts affiliated with it, and we'll be sure to break
It's
the news.
it's pretty much become a podcast con.
That's
is
right.
what it has become, or a podcaster con anyway.
Maybe they'll just call it PodCon.
PodCon.
We'll just take it over and call it FactorCon.
Right.
I think Adam might have an issue with that.
The
Yeah,
invasion of the pod people.
That's right.
I like it for some weird, strange reason.
That's right. Well, good. I'm glad that you guys got a chance to have a good time at DruCon. Obviously, we are sad that we missed it, but we are definitely looking forward to what's coming next year. During the time in which I was planning on being there, I was dealing with having a newborn. So that was, a challenge.
Not surprising that you weren't there.
Right, exactly. So,
I was
But,
just broke.
Josh, I was talking to Josh the other day in the car, and I was joking with him about how he and his wife Deb and their baby Maggie, they go to Orlando, Florida a couple times a year down to Disney World, and they have a really good time, and they take tons of pictures, and they post them on Facebook all the time, and then they have like a big picture dump. They dump every picture that they took in one big thing. And we got 4 from DruCon.
Sorry,
I was
so focused.
I was like, what? No. But I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm really surprised that you guys had such a good time with World of Darkness. Gosh darn it. World of Darkness, just because it's definitely kind of a grittier, darker style of RP. But
Adam's a very good storyteller. He's
Good.
really good at being very descriptive about what's going on.
Sure.
And from a system perspective, it's a pretty easy mechanic.
it's just a D10 system.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would imagine you were doing the tabletop version versus the LARPing
Yes.
version.
Correct.
It was the tabletop version. However, now that I have in the past recent months been playing the LARP version of World of Darkness, what I'm doing is Werewolf. This wasn't Werewolf, but it was actually like one of the more familiar looking character sheets I've ever been handed.
Really?
Yeah.
Like my Pathfinder character sheets, I'm just like, I look at them and I'm like, Excuse me, Game Master, please tell me what I am doing and how I am doing what I am doing.
Right.
But it was actually a little bit easier for me to grasp this since I've already been more familiar with my character sheet from the LARP.
Sure.
So it was kind of nice.
I was really pleased to hear about your Dungeons and Dragons game, though, to be completely honest, because Bonnie and I have been talking about, because we have watched the Dungeons and Dragons series multiple times, because it's like a Firefly thing. It's only like 12 episodes or something. It's really a short show. And we bought the DVDs at like Half Price Books or something like that. And the boys watch it and stuff like that. And so that, when I heard that you guys had been playing that, I was like, man, I've been wanting to run a game like that for so long, because I know that it's a generational thing. That
Sure.
That show came out, I think it was in the late 80s.
I think so.
Definitely.
And so
Hank has a mullet.
Yeah. And so
Not like
it's
a horrible mullet.
it's really funny.
I mean, it fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just really funny that, like, we were talking about this probably a couple months ago, like how fun it would be to run a game and not really tell people, just have them have characteristics like that and say, okay, we're going to play, what I mean, and see how well they execute those characters based on like the character type that we had seen in the show and stuff. So,
well, special shout out to David Miller, who was our game master at the time, who was just too sweet. He'll get the joke. He really did a good job, and he has the character sheets available. So
I'm gonna hit him up on Facebook or something.
Yeah, definitely, David. If you're listening, post them on our Facebook page. I know some people be interested in seeing those, and then maybe we can look at.
That's right.
See if there's a D&D 5ed or a Pathfinder version of them for people to play around with as well.
Or something like that,
because we are system agnostic. Go Pathfinder.
That's right.
We could turn them into
for life.
That's right. For life.
So,
yep.
I'm glad you guys had a good time at DruCon. Indie PopCon is literally around the corner. We are, burning the candle at both ends, as it were. I've still got to make a couple runs to a couple different places. For those of you, I'm going to make a quick plug for our booth real quick at the beginning, and we can do it again later. For those of you who are going to Indie PopCon, the established facts, not only do we have an exhibitor's booth at booth 356, and I believe we're aren't we right across from some of the...
We're right by some of the autograph areas.
Some of the autograph areas.
Yep.
So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, again, like we were last year.
That's the coolest way to meet
it really... Well, yeah, and you get a lot of people that come by that are getting ready to get in line, or they're in line, and the line's extremely long, and you get a chance to talk to people while they're standing there waiting.
Yep.
Or, as last year was, we can explain to them who Sam Jones and Edward James Olmos is while they're waiting in line to see Markiplier. So
he's not going to be there.
He won't.
So.
He won't. And I know that they have Indie PopCon. Those guys have done an extremely good job at kind of really tackling that, because it was a difficult thing for them last year. It was awesome. The popularity of it was great. The selling point was great. As Triple H would say, it was good for business. But I know that there were a lot of people that were a little confused as to how the system worked, and because it was free, a lot of people were getting in line and then getting back in line, and it's just kind of a nightmare for the PopCon guys. And I know that they've been working really hard. Jen Smith, I think specifically, has been working really hard at getting that kind of organized, and so I'm really excited to see how things are going to be a little bit different this year than they were last year. So yeah, we have a booth at 356. If there's no other incentive to come by and see us other than to say hi, we are going to be putting together another raffle for the weekend. We've already accumulated somewhere in the neighborhood of about $60 in games, and then I've got an autographed Skybite from Peter Spellos, who unfortunately will not be there, but we love you, Peter, and we'll see you next year. We've got an Arkham, the video game Harley Quinn, that we're going to have Tara Strong sign.
Pop vinyl.
That's what, pop vinyl. And then we've got a Loot Crate Deadpool exclusive figure that I am literally going to go around during the weekend. I'm just going to carry it around with me, and every Deadpool that I see, I'm going to have them sign it, so that by the end of the weekend, that thing is going to be covered in Deadpool signatures.
You need to get like a Post-it note or something that rolls out so that if you sign too many.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do
like
that.
a scroll.
Yeah.
That, here's your vial, and then boom,
Yeah,
this big list of
every
Deadpools.
Deadpool will sign it. So definitely going to do that, and we're going to be accumulating more things during the weekend and stuff like that. So please come out, check out Indie PopCon, check out our booth at 356, and a lot of the other things that we're going to definitely be talking about in this episode. So the first thing I would like to do for us is, and we do this on pretty much every convention discussion that we have.
Well, okay, this is exactly how I introduced this to everybody else. If we're going to treat PopCon like we treat Gen Con, then we need to treat PopCon like we're going to treat Gen Con. So it's time to get ready for PopCon.
That's right. It's time to get ready for PopCon. This is our PopCon Prep episode. So we're going to go down and we're going to each give kind of a nugget of wisdom as an attendee for PopCon, and then as an exhibitor for PopCon. And even if you're not an exhibitor, you can probably use some of the advice as an exhibitor to get the most out of your convention as an attendee as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with Josh, and we'll go around the table counterclockwise if you're following on your diagram.
Yeah, that one guy who's like, oh, yeah, I got to make sure I know where everybody's sitting. This must be Josh. Avital's over there.
Avital, and then Josh, and then there's too many Joshes.
I wonder if the table's round.
You sound like a Monsters, Inc. character right now.
Thanks.
Okay, so Josh, as an attendee for PopCon, give us one kind of like your ultimate nugget of advice.
Be patient. You know, after last year, there was a lot of discussion involving where the YouTube stars were and how that was handled, and I think there were a lot of people who blew it out of proportion. A lot of people who had good points about being upset about how certain things were handled, but you know what? Everybody's there to have a good time, and in the end, be patient and be polite. It's not like just you're there to enjoy yourselves. These stars are excited about seeing you, and in a lot of cases, as much as you are, because they can't do what they do without you. So be patient, and you know, if there's a site like an autograph session at 11 o'clock and there's another one at 4 and you walk up at 11 and it's super busy, come back around 4. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, and in that being patient and polite, no, you may not get the autograph. I mean, other than the payoff. I mean, you pay for an autograph, you're going to get an autograph. PopCon's really good about that. But right. You know, the meet and greets and stuff, you may stand in line and not meet them. They have a schedule too. But just patience, politeness, it'll go a long way.
Yeah. I think just kind of building off of that a little bit before we get to Avital's, you also have to remember, as an attendee, you're there on your day off. You're having a really good time at Indie PopCon. But the people that are there signing autographs, they're under contract, so technically they're at work. And so, you know, as you are when you're at work, you don't want somebody to just walk in and, you know, be super rude and stuff like that, because that can really kill your mood. Or, you know, as we learned in Cards Against Humanity, that can definitely, quash your... I can't remember,
I can't either.
Dang it. I had it in my head, too. Now I feel stupid for bringing it up. I'll figure it out in a minute. But, you know, these guys, the actors and the comic book artists and stuff like that, they're all contracted. They're at work. And they want to have a good time at work with the people that really appreciate the things that they do. So don't make it too much of a chore to deal with you as an attendee. And, yeah, just like Josh said, be patient. So, Avital, what you got?
Honestly, the single most important thing for any convention, for anyone attending or exhibiting, in my opinion, is to stay hydrated and drink lots of water and not just soda. Everybody say, hey, hail hydrate.
Hail hydrate. Write it down.
Oh my goodness gracious. Hail hydrate.
That happened. Wow. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, Prime, what you got?
Well, since Avital took mine, I'm gonna have to.
Thank you.
Avital took yours.
Oh, totally. I was gonna say hydrate and eat appropriately.
Oh wow!
But she said hell hydrate, and that's, I'm cool with that too. So what I'm gonna say in the reference of water is shower.
Oh,
Even though you specifically said you were not going to say that.
She hell hydrated me.
Oh.
Okay. How was I supposed to respond?
or as I like to say, wash your butt.
Well, that's right. that's the PG version.
That's right. Harsh my mellow was the phrase from Don't Harsh My Mellow, bro.
Got it, yeah.
Don't harsh
I'll leave it up to my wife to remember a Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, but
Play.
even though she and I'm going to tell on her, but it was almost funnier because she put down.
She put Marsh my mellow.
S'mores. Give me s'more.
That's right.
So shower, stay
Shower,
clean.
wash your
Yeah.
booty.
Wash
right.
your booty.
Smell nice.
And yes, that is an important
Even if
element.
Considering PopCon is only a 3-day con,
There were 20,000 people there last year.
I know. What I was going to say is, even though it's just a 3-day con, you could probably get away with Gen Con. You should definitely shower probably twice. PopCon, you could probably get away with once, like maybe
Depending on the person.
depending on the person. Yeah, if you're a big fat sweaty guy like me, yeah, I'm definitely
It should be your first- walk in the
showering
door, dive in the shower.
3 days a week.
I would like to state as well that if
have
you
the
only,
shower running when I get home.
if you only play, keep the limo warm. Anyway, if you're going to only shower once, make sure you bring deodorant in your backpack.
Oh, yeah,
so that way you can carry it around and use it
Smell
as
nice.
needed.
Just smell nice for the rest
People
of us.
like it when you don't smell like butt.
If you respect my nose, I will respect yours. Okay, so we got be patient, hail, hydrate, wash your booty.
So good.
So good. And I'm going to say, for me, and this is going to go back to last year's Gen Con as well, make sure you get appropriate rest to enjoy the convention. To enjoy the convention. I'm not saying, if you're a con goer, you understand you can probably run on 3 hours. So get your 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be 8 full.
Like 4 at
4,
least.
yeah. I'm a 3 to 5. If I can get 3, I can function. If I can get 5, I'm good all day.
6 would be better.
So definitely take your time and rest, and also find those little areas during your day if you're going between a panel or you go from an autograph session to maybe you signed up for a game at the in the game room, or you're going out to see the guys play the esports stuff at the Pan Am Plaza. Find a place to sit down and just chillax. Like that is definitely a good time to just rest. And even if you close your eyes and take a 15-minute nap or something, a power nap in the hallway, set an alarm on your cell phone. I'll tell you what, that got me through Gen Con last year. Was I work third shift on a normal basis, and having to work third shift all week, and then also work at Gen Con in the exhibit hall. By the time I had my hour break at like 1:00, I was dying. And had I not been able to go and take like a hardcore power nap, I would have been wasted by the end of the day. So I was wasted anyway, but I may not have been able to get home safely. So
I'm going to add one in here, and I think we've mentioned this as a podcast after every convention, especially conventions that really have a heavy cosplayer. Be respectful.
yeah,
I just saw. Really,
I think that's an all around. I think that's definitely an all around rule.
It
in
is,
general.
but there was a big conversation, like a big thread that was going on in the PopCon page about the photographers and some people like setting up pre-things and some being exhibitors and some doing free and so, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the photographers, whatever's been worked out with the PopCon staff is one thing, but when it comes to you and your phone and I got to get that selfie, be respectful, ask first, and then get out of the way.
Yeah.
Child's play is not consent.
That's the very key phrase. And don't stop to take a picture in the middle of the walkway.
Yeah.
If you're the person with the camera, you're like, hey, can you step over here right next to the wall for just a half a second?
Yeah.
If you're the person in the cosplay and someone's like, can you take
Hey,
a picture?
let's-
You're like,
yeah.
hey, can we step over here to
Yeah,
the wall for just
exactly.
a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
can
then
sometimes be difficult.
The nice thing,
But-
it is kind of annoying, but it's not nearly as bad in the big main hallways outside, like out in the main halls and stuff like that when you're walking around. Those are pretty much geared for large amounts of traffic. So
Well, and Gen Con taped off areas for pictures.
yeah, absolutely, which I think is extremely smart.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Even-
really great thing to do to
Even-
encourage.
Yeah, when as far as setting up backgrounds.
Yeah,
in
well,
some
yeah,
areas
and I think
too,
PopCon
so-
did that last year
Yeah.
too. In the exhibit hall, they actually had an area with a big Indie PopCon banner where you could stand in front of it and take your pictures with your cosplayers and stuff like that. Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, just be observant to your surroundings, be respectful to other people's time, and you know, if I'm at a con and I've got 10 minutes to go and see so-and-so star or something like that, I don't want to be caught up in the hallway because this guy in a, Sailor Moon costume decided he was going to stand right in the middle of the hallway and get 15 different people to take a picture of him. Okay, so those are all really awesome nuggets of knowledge for an attendee going to PopCon. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the exhibitor side of PopCon. I think we're going to go in reverse order, so we'll start with Prime on this one.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
No, go for it. I
Okay.
don't care.
Reverse
So
order would be
as an
you.
exhibit, what's that?
Reverse
order would be you
Oh,
first.
you're right. Shoot. Look at that.
You said it.
Thwarted my own
You
plan.
There's
can
no
still
taking-
make Prime go first.
There's
though.
no taking that
No
back.
take
though.
backs. Prime goes first. Okay, so
sunk my
we've
battleship.
all gotten a chance to experience the exhibitor side of PopCon and the exhibitor side of conventions in general. So, from an exhibitor standpoint at PopCon, what would be your nugget of advice, Prime?
I would say my nugget of advice is going to be very similar to the one that you had, which is rest. If you were working a booth, you don't want to be asleep at your booth.
That's true.
So it's important for you to be awake, to set aside enough time to get an appropriate amount of sleep so that you can last the X amount of hours until A, someone relieves you, or B, you're ready to close shop. So
I'm going to kind of add to that as both a plug and a agreement with the way PopCon's worked out, and our friends at Crit Confirm are putting on the Endless Dungeon again, and even they are promoting that they are a place for you to kind of sit and be in the air conditioning and kind of
Relax
just get away
and
from
chill
stuff
out, yeah.
as it's been busy around. I know it was very helpful for Avital last year when she was overwhelmed by the mass amount of people.
Indeed.
So I highly recommend that if, as an exhibitor, you've got people to kind of take over for you and swap in and out, get your food, go hang out at the Endless Dungeon, support that charity and so forth over there. They get comfortable seating, and it's usually not as busy as the food court because
And
the
they're
food
all-
court's all loud.
and they're
Oh,
all
yeah,
good
it's
people
always
too.
crowded.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Avital.
Yeah. Honestly, what I was going to say is kind of related. Though, again, hail hydrate as an exhibitor as well, because that's super important. Also, you can't survive on just liquids. You need to eat. Whether you bring it with you or you get it in the food court or whatever, you need to eat. That's super important. But yeah, what's really important for me, being an exhibitor and an introvert, and having to be extroverted, having to reach out to people that are walking past, is having the time to step away from that.
Sure.
It's extremely important. Like, it doesn't have to be for hours at a time. I just need to be able to, for me personally, to be able to take breaks. And honestly, the Endless Dungeon, because it's like, I can just sit in the back. It's not super loud. It's entertaining. And, it's not like it's not even super bright or anything. Like, it's really just kind of a fun but relatively chill environment. I mean, or you can just find a couch upstairs or something too. Like, there are couches in the convention center and everything, but honestly, being able to get away is super important.
So have some me time.
Yeah.
Like take a break from
Not even necessarily to like walk around the convention, although that is nice to have time to walk around the convention.
So say add that on. It's you may not need it, but for others, they need that even as a way to walk around and get not. I'm thinking
just
the wrong
recharge.
word. That's the word. I was going to say regenerate. I'm like, people didn't die.
We're not cutting off limbs here.
I was going to say rejuvenated, which was close.
It's a good word too.
It's funny because literally you have to unplug and recharge.
Yeah.
Joshy?
Get to know the people around you.
Oh, man. I was totally going there.
See, now you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
That's okay. Hydrate.
It's the people around you are they're all there for similar purpose, and a lot of times conventions they try their best to not put like competing things right next to each other. Like it's pretty rare you'll see Chessex sitting next to Q Workshop when it comes to selling dice at Gen Con, but even if that's the case, you're for vendors, if you're there selling to make money, you guys are there for the same purpose, to make money, help each other out. I know that's a competitive world, but for example, we're a free podcast. We're showing it. We got a booth because we're donating PA equipment and sponsoring the podcast stage, and we're so excited about that. But we're not there to make money. But people around us probably are. So it's really important that we know who's going to be next to us, who's going to be across from us, because then when people start expressing their interest to us, we can either direct them there or direct them elsewhere. But it really is helpful to be able to direct traffic. Make sure you know those people, because you're going to be with them for the next 3 days for most of the day.
Yeah.
Whether you're changing in and out people or not, it's still they are your support system, because you don't want them to push people away either.
Right.
I think to add on to that too, if you're looking at it from a business perspective, it's important to network.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the only way to network is to get to know people, and you don't want to burn bridges before you're even able to build them. So
yeah. I think that the one thing I'm going to miss about having a standard exhibitors booth versus the last 2 years when we've had an Artist Alley or an Internet Alley booth was having those people so close in proximity to you, because I can remember our first year we had an artist to our left. We were supposed to have an artist to our right that never showed up.
Yeah.
And then we had 3 or 4 crafters across from us.
Hey, Mike Ficara was across from us, and he's big name guy now when it comes to the local art community.
Well, and we saw him at the Independent Show.
We sure did. He's going to be guest starring in the Endless Dungeon one day too.
Is he really?
Yep.
Sweet. That's awesome. So being able to do that kind of thing, being able to plug other people. We are a podcast of plugs. We love to promote other people's stuff, and so being able to network with people around you allows. I think there were 3 or 4 times when we were talking to people that were just kind of walking through casually. We started talking to them, and because they were at our booth and they hadn't necessarily stopped at anybody next to us, we began to kind of plug the people across from us and next to us as well. Hey, did you check out this comic guy next to us who's doing this really cool thing? Or did you check out that gal right across from us that's crafting these huge Spider-Man blankets?
Yeah, that was
stuff like that. And so
Alicia.
So being able to, and her husband's name is Thor, and that's the
Right?
only thing I could hardly remember
Alicia
her
and
name.
Thor.
Yeah,
his legitimate name is Thor.
his name is Thor.
And I
yeah.
kept throwing candy at them, and it
He
was
should have
fun.
been a blacksmith.
They were very cool. They were very nice, and again,
Or a pit bull.
I'm really excited about having an exhibitor, a full-size exhibitor
not
booth,
legal.
because I think it's going to give us an opportunity to really have a great exchange with people who are walking in as an attendee, but having that booth next to people. And, of course, we're going to do the same thing, with whoever is next to us in the exhibitor booth. Last year we had Chick McGee next to us. If you don't know him, he's from the radio show on Q95, the Bob and Tom Show.
And Steph-
Funny.
Speaking of
Funny
podcasters
guy.
at Internet Alley, I hope you guys know that we're going to be sending people your way as well, because if they like our
absolutely.
podcast, they're going to love everybody that's on that alley too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are definitely one of those podcasts that likes to give back to anybody who is willing to listen. So, anyway, my advice for exhibitors, and this is something that I have done every year as an exhibitor, is pre-plan your food. So every year I bring a cooler, and even if it just has some Monster energy drinks and some water and, some Kool-Aid or something like that in it. And then I just kind of hide it where I can under our table or something like that. Because as an exhibitor, you don't get a chance to take as many breaks as you might as an attendee. For us, we're going to be running around like chickens with our heads cut off all weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about it. But I know going in that there's going to be very little chance for me to stop at the food booth or what have you to grab something to eat. So I'm going to make sure that I have stuff that's got high protein and good carbs to keep you going throughout the day, maybe a little bit of caffeine, stuff like that. Just
and water
and lots of water. Absolutely. Hail hydrate. So,
or a water bottle, because they have plenty of,
that's true.
Water is readily available for,
to fill your,
in the convention
if you
center.
have a liquid receptacle, you can fill it at pretty much, there's I think every hallway almost has
there's
3 or 4 of them everywhere.
Yeah.
So
there's also sinks.
And if you go to the bathroom,
I
just fill it up in the
that
sink.
Water kind of tastes nasty.
It's all the same. It
when
goes
you
through
go
the
to the
same
bathroom.
pipes.
When you go to the bathroom, there's no if.
Okay, well, if you don't want to potty in your pants, then yes.
Yeah, 'cause, it's not an optional thing. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen one way or another, I guess.
if it doesn't, you're not drinking enough water.
That's right. So, definitely pre-plan your food. I usually make cold cut sandwiches, or I'll bring stuff to make cold cut sandwiches. I know sometimes people don't really get around it, but I really like making chicken salad and stuff like that because it's easy and it's, you can pre-make it. I can make it on Wednesday and it's still good all weekend as long as I keep it cold and stuff like that.
Chicken salad's cool. I love your egg salad. Your problem is your egg salad that was made on Wednesday that you crack open on Friday, and we're like,
right.
Whoa.
Right. No, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. I made that mistake one time, and that doesn't happen. And also, the downside about egg salad is the repercussions of eating egg salad.
Egg salad's like White Castle in a container. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
And I'm not eating like eggs right now very much. So
Yeah.
Protein is important, though. It's a slow burner.
It is. Yep, and it'll keep you
Protein and
going.
carbs.
Right. That's right.
Yep.
Protein and
Both of them.
carbs. Protein and carbs. So, definitely do that. Eat right. Even if it's just like a turkey sandwich and then like an apple and a banana, like that kind of thing is going to help you get through that, 7th hour.
That said, eating right, absolutely. When it comes to like dinner or after the hall closes or something, make sure you enjoy Indianapolis. There are a lot of really, food-wise, food in particular, there's some really good stuff down there.
If I can remember right, there are over 400 restaurants within the 2-mile square of downtown metropolitan Indianapolis. So that's like, if you know the perimeter of north, south, east, and west street, there are, I believe, 400 different restaurants within that 2-mile rate, or that 2-mile square. Yeah. So there's tons of variety. If if you're looking for, there's pizza, there's pasta, there's pubs everywhere. If you're looking for high end, there's high end. If you're looking for cheap eats, there's cheap eats. I think they'll probably have some food trucks. I hope they'll have some food trucks out there.
The food trucks are going to be out by the arena.
Okay, so that's going to be really cool. That's a really easy way. It may be a little bit more expensive than, say, like Taco Bell, but it's going to be cheaper than, St. Elmo's for sure, and it's right there.
And better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's, most of the time it's like as if you are in a restaurant ordering that food. Yeah. I'm a sucker for a gyro, at the end of the day. So
the bacon mac and cheese that they make every year. I'm sorry, Avital. She's decreasing her dairy intake now, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. Okay.
It's still delicious.
So that's,
I'm not going to stop eating it, but I might feel bad.
Yeah.
I'll eat it for you.
There you go.
That?
I'll eat
Sounds
twice
good.
the amount. This is for
This
for
mac
my
and
homies.
cheese is awesome.
This is for my homies.
One for my homies. So that's definitely a few. Those are just a few nuggets of advice that we have. If you want any more advice, go back and listen to pretty much any of our convention episodes where we do a
the last year.
Yeah, the last
Comes up in the last year.
years.
All the
Almost 5 years now.
I know we're a gaming podcast, but conventions are like a thing for us. We love them.
Yeah.
I don't know if
They
you guys have
involve
noticed.
gaming?
Like
They
we
do,
like to
most
go
of
to
the time.
conventions.
We love going to conventions. Well, I mean, most of us are, at least 3 out of the 4 of us on this show today are pretty extreme extroverts, and
Yeah.
so it gives us an opportunity to go out and meet people and stuff like that. And
At least 3 out of the 4. I think you mean literally specifically 3 out of the 4.
Yes,
right,
I
but
know
I just
that.
mean like in perspective to the majority of the people we have on the show.
But Avital, in the last year, you're the one who's been to the most conventions.
That's true. It's all your fault. Thank you, Bus. Good Lord.
I have comments. Not going to say them.
Beep, beep, beep.
The hazards of recording right next to
That's
the main
right.
road.
So, with all of that being said, we are, again, I hate to continue to repeat myself, but we are extremely grateful and excited to be as much of a part of PopCon this year as we are. Not only do we have an exhibitor booth at 356, but we have the awesome opportunity and blessing to be able to host and sponsor the podcast stage, the live podcast stage at Indie PopCon. So it is officially the Established Facts live podcast stage.
yeah.
We've got a big sign that's got our name on it. We've got all the equipment and stuff like that. We actually get a chance to open the stage on Friday at 1:00, which I'm really excited about. I'm not really sure who we're going to be hanging out with. I came up with an idea that if we don't have somebody to interview, then I really want to go around and talk to people that are at the con and ask them what they want us to talk about. But I'm kind of afraid of what might happen.
That will only have an hour.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway,
Grab cosplayers.
do we know where the podcast stage is actually going to be
I am
yet?
looking
Have they
up the-
figured it out?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
I got to
know
look up the map real
For
quick,
a
though.
while, they were having trouble trying to figure out where they wanted to put it. Last year, it was in the Georgia Street food court, which was really a nice, convenient place.
It is near the food court. It's just not the one off Georgia Street.
Okay, so the one off of Maryland?
I believe so. That's why
Okay.
I'm getting verified right
So
now.
farther away from the hall.
Well,
Right.
they've got a different set of halls this
Well, and they're
year.
in halls. Are they in A, B, and C, or...
The old side.
They're in the
or
old side, of what's
Yeah.
considered the old side of the convention center. So if you are a local Indianapolis convention goer, the Victory Field side, if you will, of the convention center,
Right, and the
closer to the JW Marriott, the obelisk of glass, as I like to call it.
Yes.
That side of the convention center is the food court that they should have the stage set up in.
Okay.
So they actually have during Gen Con they have a live performance stage set up over there. So they've got several of the bands and stuff like that come to Gen Con play there. So I believe that's where they're going to be setting it up. I think that's by the C exhibitor doors. So if you know the layout of the convention center, the Maryland Street food court, right across the street from the Marriott Hotel. Josh is trying to find it vigorously on the internet, but can't. That's okay.
By the end of the episode, he'll figure it out.
right.
So definitely come and check us out. There's going to be tons of podcasters on the stage. They've got a schedule all weekend. I think it's every hour there's a new podcaster. Friday, it's from 1 to 7. I think it's 1 to 7. I know the exhibit hall closes at 8 on Friday. So I think it's during the hours of the exhibit hall they're going to be having podcasting. Saturday podcasting starts at 12. We have another podcast at 1:00 on Saturday. I'm not sure what Sunday's schedule looks like, whether we will be on stage on Sunday or not. But regardless, we're going to have a great time at the con.
No, we're actually in the process of working out some details on kind of a special event, possibly involving a live radio play. But
That's right.
We'll try and post some things on that one.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure what's going on with that yet. So we will keep you up to date. I do know that we've been asked. I'm pretty sure I can say this. We've been asked to moderate one of the panels?
Yes. Don't confirm which one yet because I'm waiting on that schedule.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We are moderating a panel.
Yes, we are.
I'm not 100% sure what panel. So
because I'm still waiting on a schedule.
We're not going to give out that information as of yet because we don't want to, kick
Confused.
ourselves in the rear and tie anybody's hands. So, so that's exciting. We didn't. We actually, Avital and I got to host a panel last year with the Frost sisters. That was a lot of fun.
That was nifty.
So this year we're going to get a chance to host another panel. Again, not sure yet what, but we will definitely post that on the Established Facts and our Facebook page. So, Avital, what are you looking forward to at PopCon this year?
It's funny. PopCon, it's a different convention because of how every year I've gone. I've been, even when I wasn't on the podcast, I was helping out with the booth.
Right.
So
Our booth babe.
That's right.
That's me. But honestly, it is cool to be in the booth and talk to people.